Hey guys, welcome to a brand spankingly new deep playthrough of Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I hope you can hear me. The volume in my headset is actually way too loud with this menu music going on. Barely hear myself, but anyways, I am still fully in my what I set out to do in my Assassin's Creed series playthrough. I did a very deep playthrough of AC Unity. I'm now doing AC3. Still have to upload it, but yeah, I have to first upload all the remaining episodes of AC Unity with 4K 60 FPS, really big files. It takes forever. But I got a little bit fatigued of Assassin's Creed. I've been playing it now. The AC Unity was some 300 episodes or 270, 80 or something, 40-minute episodes. And now I'm also already in, like, I don't know, episode 60 of 60 40-minute episodes of AC3. So I really was in for a little change. And then, yeah, this game was still in my library. And I actually never really got to it. I did play it offline a bit myself a couple of years ago. But it's a pretty cool game, and I play tested it now a bit, and I thought, why not just change of scenery? Maybe I will quickly hop over onto Assassin's Creed again. I want to do Black Flag, Rogue, Origins, Odyssey. I want to do a lot of. I really am in the AC fight, but yeah, I really need a break of that right now. And maybe I will just continue this one all in one go. The good thing of this game is, I think it's at least less grindy than AC with all the chests and the collectibles, because I'm really doing 100%ing those games. And apparently, what I read, this is also a relatively short game, so that yeah, it sounds about right. Doing this in between, it will be a deep playthrough. My niche, that means going thoroughly through the game, doing all the collectibles, hardest difficulty always. Max graphical settings, minimal HUD as possible. There are some minor HUD elements in this game, even if you disable everything. Usually I just mod those out, like in AC Unity or in all the AC games I play. I really have like literally zero HUD. I can disable it fully, any element that is left over. But in this game that did not work, so there will be some very minor HUD elements. But yeah, that's my approach always. Hardest difficulty, max graphics, zero HUD. Side objective, collectibles, reading up on the lore, and concluding it also a little bit with my own thoughts. But yeah, that will be a long time from now. But yeah, doing a quick look back and summarizing it in like yeah, you could call it a recap or a review, and giving my thoughts on the game, but that's all at the end. And it will always also be unedited. It's just me blindly going through the game with commentary. So that is about the setup, the reason for starting this game in between the AC playthroughs. And let's quickly get through the menu. So story is what we will be doing. Breach, that's some kind of yeah, tacked on game mode. I don't know why. It's some kinds of a weird virtual world. Will not be bothering with that. I will be bothering with the DLC, and I'm not sure if Jensen's Stories is DLC. It could very well be, but if so, then I will also play that after the main storyline. Extras, what the hell is that? Recap video, announcement trailer, mechanical apartheid. I heard that they got a lot of backlash in this game. By the way, I think it came out in 2000 and I looked it up today. It's not even that old compared to, for instance, AC3 or AC Unity, which are significantly older. One moment. I think it's 2015 or 16. Mankind Divided. One moment. Yeah, 2016, August. So yeah, let's call that 5 years old. When it came out, I read that there was a lot of backlash on this marketing campaign, and also that apparently they really over monetized the game with in-game purchases, or how do you call it? I forgot the word, but yeah, I'm not sure whether it are loot boxes, but the things you can buy in-game while you already paid full price for a AAA release. I also really don't like that. But in the marketing campaign, that was really like too close to real life things going on. Like you had apartheid in South Africa, you have all the in 20 or yeah, I'm not sure how the world was, or don't remember exactly how it was in 2016. But of course you have like racism all over the world, or at least perceived racism. I think there's a lot also perception. At least I don't consider myself a racist, but many other people would probably say, yeah, you're a white guy, so you are by definition a racist. At least that's how it works in 2021. But anyways, this whole marketing campaign was a little bit too close to reality, I guess. So they did get some backlash from that. Benchmark, I've already played tested it, it runs fine, and in the credits we can watch those after the game drops. I do think that I will be doing the recap video, just to, that's probably where Deus Ex Human Revolution left off. So that's fun to yeah, to get a quick recap. Quickly the options. So display, everything is maxed, 4K, 60 frames per second. I have NVIDIA NSync or whatever it's called enabled, so I don't need VSync. Over here everything is maxed, like so. Audio, everything default, no subtitles. Subtitles are also pretty unimmersive. Language is English. Mouse and keyboard, I'm playing with the gamepad. Gamepads, it's all pretty much default. In gameplay, this is like the all the HUD elements. Kudos to the developers that it's very customizable, but everything is off. And then we have a shop. Actually, if you click it, I really hate that. That totally gets you out of the game and just gets you to your web browser and then to some kind of Idle's web shop website. It's incredibly stupid. If you put a shop in your game, at least make it an in-game shop. Square Enix, I don't even dare to press it. I'm pretty sure that it will also just takes me out of the game and yeah, onto the internet. Not what you want. And this is the quit button. So let's quickly do that recap and then let's start story. So extras. Here we go.
The year was 2027. Advances in biotechnology were helping people improve their physical and mental abilities to an amazing degree. Provided, of course, they had enough money. A new breed of people was emerging, half human, half machine. And in Detroit at least, not everyone was happy to see it. I'd just landed a job as head of security at Sarif Industries, a cutting-edge biotech firm. David Sarif himself handpicked me for the job, said he needed me to keep his people safe. My ex, Megan Reed, was one of them. Brilliant neuroscientist, Megan had found a way to make augmentation safe and affordable for everyone. All she had to do was present her research to Congress. But the night before her big meeting, my security measures failed. A team of Black Op mercenaries stormed into Sarif headquarters, massacring everyone in sight. 3 of the mercs were heavily augmented walking tanks. Their mission? Take out Megan and her team. I tried to stop them, but their leader tossed me through a plate glass wall. Last thing I heard as his bullets slammed into my brain was Megan's dying scream. I should have died with her. Only I didn't. High-end military-grade enhancements saved my life. The best augmentation Sarif's money could buy. It took me half a year to get a feel for it. Should have taken longer. But 6 months into my recovery, Sarif Industries was attacked again. This time, by a radical group of pro-human purists. Violent, militant, and fanatically opposed to human augmentation. They claimed to be members of Humanity Front, a non-profit organization that wanted the UN to limit biotechnology research. The thugs broke into Sarif's factory and found machinists working overtime on a top-secret military augment called the Typhoon. Sarif sent me to retrieve it, and when I did, I found one of the so-called purists next to it, wired with cerebral implants, trying to download its classified specs. Obviously, something more was going on. The AUG killed himself before I could question him. Sarif ordered me to dig deeper, so with the help of Frank Pritchard, Sarif's head of cybersecurity, I did. Turns out a second hacker had been controlling the AUG's actions from somewhere off-site. Pritchard and I tracked his signal to a secret FEMA internment camp in Detroit. The Black Op mercenaries were there. The same mercs who'd left me for dead 6 months before. Figured they'd try again when they saw me. It wasn't so easy for them this time. I took out the tank named Barrett, even got him to give me a new lead. A penthouse apartment in China. Of course, we both knew it would be a trap in the end. Hengsha Island, China. Home to a city so crowded, they had to build a second city on top of it. Trying to find clues in Hengsha wouldn't be easy. Lucky for me, I wasn't alone. Farida Malik, Sarif Industries' ace pilot, had lived in Hengsha before. A good person to have on your side. She knew enough about the place to get me around. Malik dropped me in the lower city, close to the penthouse Barrett had told me about. Bell Tower Associates, a private security firm under contract to the Chinese government, had agents tossing the suite when I arrived. Just not for the reason I'd been expecting. Turns out the man who lived there was a criminal hacker named Van Bruggen. The same hacker who'd been remotely controlling the AUG in Sarif's factory. Van Bruggen's panicked decision to force the man to commit suicide had been a mistake. Now his mercenary partners were gunning for him, and I needed to find him before they did. Locating Van Bruggen meant playing nice with the Triads, Hengsha's organized crime lords. They had the hacker holed up inside a low-rent capsule hotel. By the time I found him, Van Bruggen had no qualms giving up the woman who hired him. Zhao Yunru, president of the Taiyang Medical Corporation. According to Van Bruggen, Zhao wanted to monopolize the augmentation industry and had hired Black Op mercenaries to destabilize her competition. Sarif Industries was at the top of her list. To prove this, I needed to get inside TYM and grab a surveillance hologram off a server. I suspected Van Bruggen was hiding something when he told me this, but nothing could have prepared me for what I saw. Megan wasn't dead. She and her 4 best researchers had been kidnapped, spirited away somewhere while their kidnappers made it look like they were dead. Desperate to learn more, I confronted Zhao in her penthouse. She claimed to be a pawn in a bigger plan, and hinted at a group so powerful it controlled global interests at a whim. Then she slipped into a panic room and hit the alarm, forcing me to make a very quick exit. I figured Zhao was lying, but part of her confession made sense. David Sarif had been worried about his people. So worried, he'd required all of them to have subdermal locator devices surgically implanted. The GPOs would have been broadcasting the day of the attack. But Zhao said a single call to Picus, the world's leader in global 24-hour satellite news, had turned those signals off. I needed to fly to Picus headquarters in Montreal if I wanted to learn more. Eliza Kassan, Picus Communications' First Lady of News. Malik thought I was reaching when I told her Eliza was involved in this. The world's most famous news anchor, working with a mercenary hit squad. But when I confronted Kassan in her office, she freely admitted to jamming Detroit's satellites the night Megan's team had been taken. Said she's just been following her commands. I suspected she wanted to say more. But Black Op mercenaries showed up looking to shut us both down. And just like that, the Eliza I'd been talking to disappeared. The mercs were led by an augmented killer I'd crossed paths with twice before. Fedorova, a woman who'd made silence her best friend. She waited for me to track Eliza's transmission to a secret server room underneath the Picus complex, then jumped me from behind. A deadly fight ensued. I made sure she never moved silently again. With Fedorova down, and no one left to keep Eliza quiet, she reappeared. Turns out Picus's first lady of news wasn't a lady at all. She was a sophisticated AI program, engineered to monitor data streams and control what people believed. Eliza told me the mercs had brought in a Humanity Front doctor named Isaiah Sandoval to remove the scientist's implanted tracking devices while Detroit's satellites were down. She also told me to speak to David Sarif if I wanted to learn more. By the time Malik and I got back to Detroit, tensions between normal and augmented citizens had reached a flashpoint. Riots were breaking out in several cities, and the UN was being urged to intervene. Sarif was trying hard to convince Hugh Darrow, the inventor turned philanthropist who'd once been a leading proponent of enhancement technologies, to help stop a possible regulatory vote. Sarif had a lot riding on Darrow. Megan's discovery would have given millions of people the chance to evolve beyond their normal human abilities, and at the same time catapulted Sarif Industries to the top of the Fortune 500. According to Sarif, Megan's kidnappers knew this, and didn't want people evolving unless they controlled how it was done. He called his enemies Illuminati, and urged me to keep searching. Determined to do so, I tracked down Sandoval via America's most outspoken augmentation opponent, Bill Taggart, Sandoval's boss and founder of Humanity Front. Sandoval admitted to operating on Megan's team when I confronted him, but said he hadn't removed their GPLs. He'd merely switched them to a different frequency. Pritchard was able to trace one of the signals to China. Malik and I immediately took off in pursuit. Unfortunately, the Illuminati were one step ahead. Ambushed. Shot out of the sky by Bell Tower Associates, seconds after entering Hengsha's airspace. Malik's piloting skills saved me. After a tense and bitter struggle, I escaped into Lower Hengsha. The tracking signal I was following led straight to the Triads, or more specifically, to the augmented arm of Tong Si-hung, leader of a gang of augmentation harvesters. Tong said they'd taken the arm off a corpse, which Bell Tower had left at their door, meaning at least one of Sarif's scientists was dead. Maybe not the rest of them, though. Tong pointed me to a port used for human trafficking and helped me slip aboard a Bell Tower ship. It was sailing to Rifleman Bank Station, a military base in the South China Sea. Bell Tower was holding kidnapped civilians as prisoners there, and using them to perfect the Hyron Project, a human-computer interface that left most of its test subjects dead. My search for Megan would have ended then, if not for a mysterious ally named Quinn. In exchange for my help exposing Bell Tower, he slipped me aboard a second ship headed to Singapore, and an Illuminati-run biotech facility called Omega Ranch. 3 of Sarif's scientists were there, forced by their captors to create a technology capable of remotely shutting down augmented abilities. Thanks to an emergency recall notice issued by the World Health Organization, millions of people all over the world already had the biochip installed. With the help of the scientists, I tracked Megan to a private section of the ranch. There, I ran into Yaron Namir, the walking tank who'd put a bullet in my brain the first time we met. He'd teamed up with Zhao and was hoping to catch me off guard. Their little ambush didn't work. I found Megan in a suite belonging to Hugh Darrow, the billionaire philanthropist who Sarif had called on for help. Darrow had convinced her to go along with the biochip plan by promising to sabotage the tech. As she was explaining this, Darrow appeared in a global broadcast, telling the world that augmentations would be the death of mankind. Then he activated the biochips to prove his point. All over the world, augmented people flew into a killing frenzy. Darrow had betrayed everyone, and it was up to me to set things right. To do it, I had to reach Panchaea, a massive installation in the Arctic Ocean. As I raced through corridors built by an all-augmented workforce, I saw death and destruction firsthand. By the time I shut down Darrow's broadcast, I knew the damage he'd done. Still, humanity's future remained unclear. How would the world react to this sabotage? Would people ever regain their faith in augmentations again? What would be the Illuminati's next move? Only time could give us the answers.
Holy shit. I hardly... that was a pretty extensive recap. I not even remember every boss fight of it even. Of course it has been a couple of years, but I do remember that final guy and stuff. I for sure completed the game also pretty thoroughly. But anyways, very handy recap. And then I will just as well also do the trailer and this one. So then we are really into the transitioning from Human Revolution to Mankind Divided. So, and I expect these will be a little bit shorter. So here we go.
We are human beings. Each and every one of us. This must not go on. This injustice must end.
An increase in the number of terrorist attacks highlights the danger posed by augmented citizens.
I once thought I could save the world. Now look at it.
Help me!
Sometimes, you just have to let go and embrace what you've become. They've worked from the shadows for years, shaping the future, manipulating lives, controlling information. Innocents have died as they play their game.
We will not sit idly by and allow our rights to be eroded out of fear and ignorance any longer. We will not be herded into ghettos and treated as outcasts. We will stop at nothing.
The world is different now. The old rules no longer apply. So much pain. So many lies. Their darkness must end.
This should be your fight as well, brother. The promise of a golden age is over.
Holy shit, heavy duty trailer. Really
I
like...
won't let it happen again.
Matrix style. God damn it! That I can imagine that there was a lot of hype for that game. I forgot because it's 5 years ago how big it was exactly, but I can imagine it was certainly there. All right, now the other trailer. Yes, this is a trailer. This is the announcement trailer. This is the mechanical apartheid trailer, and this is a recap of Human Revolution. All right, here we go.
How did we get here?
Technology is advancing at a phenomenal rate. Artificial eyes to cybernetic limbs.
The promise of a better future.
We now have the choice to free ourselves from any kind of limitation.
Strength, power, speed. Now I focus on what really matters.
Have these augmentations really been
There are
tested?
people who say that what is happening is unnatural, that we're playing God. But people were scared of electricity, and where would the world be without
What
that?
happens if this technology falls into the wrong hands?
Diseases or viruses that could wipe out the human race.
Scenes of terror are being witnessed worldwide.
Kind of madness has gripped the mechanically augmented people. 9 million deaths confirmed and counting.
This is an attack on humanity and the universal values that we share.
These people were hacked. They had no control.
What is the appropriate response? And can we actually protect ourselves from this happening again?
I have no idea what happened. I would never.
You tried to kill me.
At what point will governments consider the idea of segregation for all our sakes?
We can be politically correct, or we can be foolish, but it's gonna get worse and worse.
The Czech Republic adds its voice to a growing list of countries calling for the relocation of its augmented citizens.
No
Reports of severe shortages of the drug neuropozyne required to inhibit the rejection of augmentations.
And we will fight for our God-given rights to defend our will.
In a sign of growing anti-augmentation sentiment, thousands march.
It doesn't matter how many idiots you get out there on the street. We will not relinquish our limbs. Do you understand?
What is happening on this planet is a mass fear-mongering, and the mainstream media pushing this narrative.
The officer suffered severe facial
Incident after incident after
You need to
incident.
be afraid, because they are coming for you.
We will not be made slaves to corporations. We will rise up.
To them, we are the enemy.
Have you seen what your kind are doing?
My kind? You sound just like them.
We've come to a tipping point.
We can't live like this anymore.
This violence is completely out of control.
The road is being paved for this corporate militants.
What do they have planned for us?
Why are they building concentration camps?
What's going on out there?
Tension is building over
reports of
into the
multiple
streets.
fatalities. There's only one way to deal with these bloodthirsty fanatics.
A lot of people died. Now you want to take away our freedom? You will pay for it in blood.
Multiple detonations looks like car
The
bombs.
Augmented Rights Coalition denies responsibility.
The Segregation Act has been passed into law, effective immediately.
Augmented persons are being asked to move to safe and secure segregated districts.
I don't want them to take me.
We are still your neighbors, your brothers, your sisters, your lovers. We lost everything. Our dreams, our innocence. Where are you taking her? Where are you taking her? Our humanity.
Wow. Also pretty heavy trailer. I can understand that the word apartheid is maybe a little bit too... Yeah, that's just a stupid term to use for a game. But the story itself and the bigger idea behind the story, it's very intriguing, I must say. It's can happen indeed. And it has happened in history that people were... yeah, in conflict, so to say, over stupid reasons. But... man, alright, so this was a good intro. And let's dive into the story, new game. The hardest difficulties, I never asked for this, but that is like the same difficulty I think as Give Me Deus Ex. The only difference is that if you die, you start over. There's no save games, so that's pretty crazy. So we have Give Me a Story. You play games for the story and experience, not for the challenge or competitiveness. Enjoy the Deus Ex experience. Give me a challenge. You enjoy a good story and a good challenge. This is how the game is meant to be played. Give me Deus Ex. Hardened enemies and tougher situations will make your experience quite challenging and give you a good adrenaline rush. You are one with the machine. I never asked for this. Games aren't realistic enough for you. Give me Deus Ex. But just like in real life, you only live once. If you die, you have to restart the game from the beginning. Your save game will not help you. Complete the game once to unlock this difficulty. Alright, so yeah, that is really... Normally I always take the hardest difficulty level, but this is really one bridge too far if you ask me. Starting over if you make... Sometimes there's, for instance, I playtested this game earlier today, the first section that we will be playing now. The ending of that first section... that has nothing to do with skill. You just die very easily over there. You're just bum rushed in a time-driven sequence by a lot of augmented enemies. Yeah, and I'm not. If I die there, and I'm not then gonna start all over. So I am. That's just a little bit too much. I am going with this one. Give me Deus Ex. Here we go. I already checked the button layouts. Mankind Divided, you enjoy playing games as they were designed to be played, even if there's a learning curve. You want to master the most fluid method of controlling Adam Jensen. Human Revolution, the controls in Deus Ex Human Revolution were perfect. Why mess with a good thing? This is the closest possible recreation of that control scheme that still meets the needs of Mankind Divided's gameplay. Standard, your skills have been sharpened by years of playing various FPS games, so you want to feel in familiar territory. Enjoy the Deus Ex experience. Breach, especially crafted for the ultimate Ripper experience. This scheme caters to speedruns while still offering the full possibilities of a Deus Ex game. I already tested this in playtesting. I'm going to go with standards. There are only very minor differences in the button layout between these three. But the main thing is that I don't want... You have to pretty often use the weapon wheel or the augmentation wheel. And in this one, that is mapped to pressing the left and right thumbstick. And I don't really like that. So this one is... here it's mapped to the Y button. It is just... This one suits my preference much better. So we will be going with standard. And by the way, let's quickly read what does that scroll bar says. From the app are now available on YouTube. I guess that is just some... I thought maybe it was about the story of the game. But this is about the DLC and stuff. A Criminal Past or Second Jensen story DLC is now available. Adam Jensen is transferred deep into a hostile high security prison for augmented felons. His mission... Track down and retrieve sensitive information from a fellow undercover agent who has gone dark. Yeah, so those Jensen stories are indeed DLC. Our latest free content update for Breach is now live, bringing a new Darknet file focused on the Pickus group, as well as new maps and items. Alright, I will not read everything, but let's read one more. Just a bit curious, just to get into the whole... universe. The Deus Ex Universe companion app has been shut down as of May 25th, 2018. Unlocks that were previously accessible from the app are now available on YouTube, Deus Ex, and SoundCloud, Eidos Montreal. Alright, I will check that later. I think it are only 3 buttons, yeah, because here now it loops back to the start. The Criminal Past, blah blah blah. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Deus Ex Human Revolution recap video. You can enjoy Deus Ex Mankind Divided as a standalone experience. You can also relive the events of Deus Ex Human Revolution, which took place 2 years prior, by watching a 12-minute recap video. We already did that, so let's skip that for now. Here we go. You can always watch the Human Revolution recap video later. It's available in the extras section. Alright. New playthrough. Man, that trailer was pretty Matrix style. Incredibly cool.
I could save the world. Now look at it.
In yet another augmented terror attack, 251 passengers aboard Sister Airlines Flight 451 were killed when an augmented passenger broke into the plane's cockpit and ruthlessly butchered its flight crew. Details recovered from the black box recorder suggest that the man may have been suffering flashbacks to the AUG incident. That horrible day 2 years ago when augmented people all over the world flew into a psychotic killing spree, causing the greatest loss of life in recent history.
Sometimes you just have to let go and embrace what you've become.
Not gonna go all wonky on us now, Hansa, are ya?
Well, if I do, McCready, I guarantee you'll never see it coming.
Agent Jensen! Am I gonna have a problem with you?
No, sir. No reason to assume you would.
Good. Because you are the only augmented operative on this team, and I intend to make good use of you.
Listen up, all of you.
We got a sandstorm barreling down our arse and we can't afford to make mistakes. We're going after this man, an arms dealer named Shepard. He's ex-Bell Tower, one of the Special Forces commanders who disappeared during the incident.
And he's come out of hiding? That cannot be good.
It's not. He's selling weapons and military-grade augments to terrorists. This is Aran Singh, the undercover agent who lured Shepard out of his hole. Best you see Interpol's got. For 3 years he's worked hard to get in tight with the Jinn, an Iraqi smuggling cartel that's infected the Eastern Hemisphere like a plague. Last week, our arms dealer sent a message to the Jinn, offering to sell them a shitload of black market merchandise dirt cheap. They told Singh to handle the buy.
They're not gonna like it when Interpol disrupts their party. Is Singh's cover really that good?
It is right now. We need to keep it that way. This is where the deal's going down. A half-finished high-rise hotel that's been abandoned ever since the incident. It's not a pretty picture inside.
Let me guess. Most of the laborers were augmented with heavy-duty industrial rigs. So when the incident hit, and they all went schizo, things got gruesome real fast.
And no one, except for some homeless junkies, have been inside the place ever since.
So what's the plan, Director?
Singh's meeting Shepard on the ground floor, inside the hotel's main atrium. He sent the bulk of his Jinn crew to the penthouse levels to secure a vantage point. I want McCready's team to take up positions overlooking the atrium and make the arrest. Jensen, you're going in solo from the roof.
My objectives?
Keep the Jinn from joining the party. As far as we can tell, only one route connects the atrium to the penthouse level, a halfway decent elevator shaft. Here. I want you to block access to it.
Fine. Just cut me loose.
Do you plan on relying solely on your augments for this one? I'd recommend taking a little hardware, just to be sure.
Man, this game really oozes cool, if you ask me, or at least Adam does. People find him boring or shallow, I think. At least I've read on forums. I find him extremely cool. Anyways, the gameplay itself, man, this is a long loading section. I hope the game didn't crash. The gameplay will probably be in the next episode because I'm already almost hitting the 40-minute marker, I think. God damn it. Pretty sure the game is crashing. Hello. Alright, then I will give it a couple of more seconds. Otherwise, I will end the episode here. Hopefully the recording doesn't crash as well. And then in between episodes will be getting back to this part. And then we will continue. This is a bit of a bummer. What the hell? Alright, I'm pretty sure this is not how it's supposed to go. So I will end the episode here. Luckily we are in the nearing the 40-minute marker and in the episode anyways. So in the next episode we will continue where we left off. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you there. And for the meantime, do not forget yourself. Always do keep on gaming. See you later.